The purpose of this video is to show how we can put outside things into Kickstand to make everybody's life easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show how we can use Google Slides to help us organize some things and different ways that we can input that information then into Kickstand. So for example, one thing that we've looked at doing is the investigation games. So here's a slide that I have created using shapes and some text, and I've linked each shape to the investigation game that corresponds with the text. The direct link for the game, not just like the Pearson site, but the actual game link. So once I had that built out, and this could be different. It could be a choice board that you do. You could link each one of these circles to documents or slides, and you can follow the same process with Google Sheets, with Google Docs. Any of those things will work the same way as far as putting them into Kickstand. So whatever I've built, like this here, I can now put this into Kickstand two different ways. If I want students to access the slide just like I have it here and have access to doing things with it, maybe changing something or adding to it, I'm going to go to my share button. And I'm going to click copy link. And I want to make sure that it's anyone, just because it makes it a little bit easier when we're talking about kids accessing from different devices, things like that. So copy link, and I'm going to go into my Kickstand lesson, click into the lesson, go to create resource, and I'm going to call this whatever I want to call it, so investigations games. And I'm going to click website link, paste it into there, and then I'm going to save it as a new resource. When I do that, this is the way it will look for students. I'm going to save it. And that resource will be located all the way at the bottom. It's right here. I can click it, click again. Oh, I posted a YouTube video instead of that. But when I click it, it will pull up the slide just like this. They will have access to it. It will open like this on this screen. Now, the other way I can do this, and it works a little bit better if we just want students to be able to click things and go to other sources. So in this case, I want them to be able to go to the investigations games. I really don't care if they can edit or change any of this. So the way I'm going to put it in is I'm going to go to File, Publish to the Web, click the Embed tab, highlight this text right here, and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to go back to my lesson, and I'm going to go into the Explore and Investigate tab because that's the meat of my lesson. That's the main part. And I'm going to click the source button right here. And I'm going to paste that text into the box here. Once I have that pasted, I'm going to save this lesson again. And now I'm going to view it from the student view. This is what it will look like for them. This is how it will show up on their screen. They can't move the circles or the text, but they can still click in each one of the circles and go directly to the game. They didn't have to sign in. They didn't have to go to anywhere else. They just clicked that circle and it took them directly to there. So I've cut out a couple steps for kids by embedding it this way. The same process, like I said, works with any of those Google tools. If I use the publish to web and the embed code, I can place it directly into Kickstand just like this. Now, if I want students to use a writing template that I have created or something like that, I'm going to want to put that in as a resource. And I will show an example of that. So here's a template I would use for a writing lesson. 6 ideas. I want my kids to be able to each type in their own ideas on their own template. I'm going to share this. And I'm going to change it so that anybody can use it. I'm going to copy the link, go back to my lesson, and I'm going to put this in as a resource because I want them to be able to change and manipulate things on the page. And I'm going to click website link. I'm going to paste it in there. Before I save this though, I don't want every kid typing on the same sheet. So the end code where it says edit, I'm going to erase this whole part and type the word copy. Then I'm going to save it. I'm going to save the lesson. And this is going to look a little bit differently for students now. When they click that resource and go to open it, it's going to ask them if they want to make a copy. They don't have another choice, so their only option is to make a copy. By doing that, I'm allowing each student to have their own without having to type on the same document. If I want them to type on the same document, I would leave the link as it was when I copied it. But if I want each student to have their own, I need to change that ending to copy. So when we think about Kickstand, we have to think about, do we want kids to have the chance to manipulate all the things on the slides or document or sheet or whatever I'm using? Or do I want them to just go to certain things like a choice board? Choice boards, things like that should be embedded to make it a little bit easier for everyone. Other things that you want students to manipulate, you can use as a resource. Hope this helps everybody be able to navigate a little bit more with the Google tools and putting those things into Kickstand.